Hello everyone, welcome to NFL Review Free Word for every single game. That's what we are going to cover in this video. Seahawks Rams, we already covered that one, so that's the only one that you won't hear about. You will also hear my preview for the Christmas games, and that's going to be it. So let's dig deep into this one, starting with Commanders versus Eagles. To me, the storyline was Nick the Instigator. 2-point conversion, brawl, timeouts. That's Nick Sirianni. Would I wish for my coach to have more class? Probably. But do I necessarily expect class from Nick Sirianni? Not really. At the same time, I will say, given where the Eagles are at, it really feels like they kind of needed to something to be fired up within the team. I might like it. I might actually like this move. You know, it's not going to give him any friends. He better watch out players at week 18 because Commanders will freaking remember this one, and they will play you with, something to prove. But at the same time, you want your coach to do what's best for the team. And despite this being controversial, not something I would personally done myself, this might have been what this team needed. For the Commanders, another injury to a quarterback, done season, move on, happy to see Terry with form. Now, Bears versus Packers. Storyline is not bearing gifts, or seen that one before. Well, I mean, that just sucks for Packers. Like, couple of days after you lose Zach Tom, you lose Micah Parsons, Christian Watson is banged up, Josh Jacobs is banged up, etc., etc. You lose Jordan Love to concussion. I mean, brutal, just brutal. And on top of that, you still have the game in your freaking hand, and you have 2014, I think, flashlight, no, not flashlight, like when you remember something like flashback. Oh, I mean, as a Seahawks fan, I had a lot of emotions watching that one, and let's pretend that there was nothing after that conference championship, no freaking Super Bowl. But yeah, we've seen this movie before, and it's brutal to end it this way. Packers, sorry, still there's a chance for them to actually win this division. We will see how the Bears will deal with the 49ers, and then Lions in the last game, I think. So still a chance, but man, no. Credit where credit is due. I think Malik Willis was exceptional. I mean, yeah, that fourth down fumble, that sucks, but other than that, really exceptional, taking over as a backup QB, well done. And despite Caleb's numbers are not looking like exceptional, I think he was really great because Packers, actually without Micah, were able to pressure him a lot, yet no sacks. He really avoided a lot, made crucial throws, and I think really showcased that he is on the trajectory to become widely talked as top 10 QB in the league very, very soon. Now, towards the next game, Ravens versus Bills, aka what the Harbaugh. I mean, I get it. A lot went against you with Lamar's injury, but the fake punt, what was that? Like, clearly this is something that they tried to have a look at first half as well, and even though you got the look, this is the execution. I mean, what? Really bad. But to again lose a game that you have just such a freaking firm grip on it in the fourth quarter, this is inexcusable, and I think Harbaugh needs to go because this is not this year. It happened like 3-4 times this year already. This is like 5 seasons, and this roster is way too talented to just not have, I would say, close to any success. I mean, couple of playoff wins here and there, but not really conference championships, Super Bowls, no rings. And I mean, this year it's not even a playoff, most likely. Man, come on. On the other side, Drake May, I feel like in the first half, there were some moments that we were like, better defense, more aggressive play calling. There could have been interceptions, but in the second half. This was Drake May that you freaking want to see. And I would say the worst part for every AFC opponent is I think he's going to learn from these mistakes, and by making them, you are actually creating the beast that he's going to become. It might not be rings this year, but I think they are in his future. Now, towards the next game is the Panthers versus Bucks. The storyline is only 270 yards. What I'm talking about? I predicted that this game could have 400 yards of rushing. And as predicted, both of these teams really run the ball and run it well, but only gained 270, so sorry for that. We also saw Bryce Young outduel Baker Mayfield, which is like, if anybody would suggest that after like week 5, you would think he's crazy. But Baker is like really slipping a lot. I don't know, perhaps injury, perhaps like feeling that everything needs to be on him because this defense is just really bad. But he had his toys back, he had his wide receivers. Okay, protection was not necessarily the greatest, but he just got outdueled by Bryce Young, which is not something you are super excited to see as a Buccaneers fan, obviously. Now, this game still like went towards the tie that I predicted, but given how I would say bad or like inconsistent these teams are, they cannot even make that happen because Baker throws an interception on the pretty much last play of the game. But given the fact that Panthers are playing Seahawks next week, there probably is still going to be a divisional game that's going to decide between them and the Panthers in week 18, and we should watch it. Now, Browns versus Bills, aka recover well Quinchon. That was just brutal. We've seen a couple years back Nick Chubb, now Quinchon Judkins. It's not as gruesome injury, but it just sucks for a young guy that just got into the league. He became immediate engine of the offense, really someone who, you don't feel much joy, I think, watching Browns play, but Quinchon, yes, you do. So I just hope he recovers well and everything's going to be set up for him to continue where he ended in this season. We also did not get Myles Garrett's sack record. Great Browns defense there, really put it on, but it just wasn't enough. The offense was kind of anemic at some points, and Shedder's chances to be a starter week 1 next year are starting to slip. Though with the QB class that is not necessarily really great, we will see if there's anybody worth spending high first round pick other than Mendoza. With more, we don't know if he is going to be draft eligible if he declares. So we will see. Maybe it's going to be Shedder's time, but there's also going to be some veterans on the markets that could view this offense as actually intriguing. Offensive line that needs absolutely revamp, but in terms of playmakers, Judkins, Samson, Pennin, all the rookies are very exciting. You have Jerry Jeudy. We will see what's going to be with Njoku. There's something in that offense, and obviously you have a great defense behind you. Cowboys versus Chargers, aka so Dallas's defense. For 3 weeks, it felt like it was kind of fixed. Nope, that was a fool's gold. This is terrible, and I think Matt Eberflus is going to be scapegoated, which is I would have defended him after week 12. Given you need the time to meet your guys, and you have all the Micah thing, a lot of injuries, etc., etc. But last couple of weeks, I think his position starts to be really undefensible. On the other side, Chargers, a lot of great news. Hampton looks like the first-round running back that we expected, but I just cannot see Chargers as a Super Bowl threat. I feel like they will struggle heavily against any team with great defensive line, and unfortunately for them, look at the Texans. I think that pass rush is going to kill them. Look at the Broncos, the same story. I think Patriots is going to give them hell. I would kind of say that probably their best matchup could be the Bills. That's sneaky. I can see Justin Herbert really slinging it with that defensive line. I don't think it's that great, and I don't trust Bills defense at playoffs at all. So sneakily it feels like a good matchup for them, but at the same time, unless they make a miraculous run for number 1 seed, which they are still in contention, I don't see them going on the road and winning 3 games. I just don't. So I hope for Justin's sake that they are going to get his first playoff win, but I think that's going to be where the season ends for the Chargers. Now, for the Saints versus Jets, the one you've been waiting for. Storyline is, we have plan. That's what Aaron Glenn told us at the press conference after another abysmal performance for the Jets on the field. And I think they do have a plan. Aaron, I don't think you are part of it. I mean, I just don't see a world in which staying put with Aaron Glenn is in the best interest of the Jets, because he's shown close to nothing to suggest that he is above average head coach. And his defense is actually regressing. Yeah, obviously they traded away a couple of players, but they are regressing. And you will have a ton of assets with the trades. You could end up like top 5 pick this year, and you might be, pushing all the chips on the table trying to get Mendoza. Do you really want to hand Mendoza over to a guy that definitely has to be like on a hot seat and like go with that? That makes no sense. So Aaron, I believe they have a plan. I believe it doesn't continue. On the other side, Saints, it feels like you have 2 key things going forward. Kellen Moore feels like really good hire, as kind of predicted, and Tyler Shuck, as I kind of predicted. I really love that pick. He might actually be our franchise guy. I mean, it's way too soon to proclaim that he is a sure thing. Way too soon. But way to go. Like, you clearly have your guy for next season. And, unless he has like Will Levis type of second season, I think he has at least another year of a start, to give him this runway. So I'm very excited to see where this goes, because I think the upside with him that, might have been like hidden in the age, that a lot of people believe like, okay, there is not that many upside. I actually think it's tremendous with him. There is a top scenario in which he is like the tier 2 quarterback. I truly believe that. So Saints, you might actually be contender for NFC probably not. NFC South next season. Now, to follow that up with another banger, Giants versus Vikings, aka did not cheer. Guys, this is on you. I did have other things to do at that point, so I did not watch this game too much. And I ask you to wish the guys the very best, to cheer them on, and you didn't. Jackson Dart had 30 yards of passing throughout the entire game. First completed pass, like second quarter, like ending, kind of that. JJ McCarthy had to be, escaped from the game, and like Max Brosman needed to take over. Guys, not good enough from you. Shame on you. You did not wish these guys. Now, what was great to see, Justin Jefferson showcasing, yeah, he's still Justin freaking Jefferson. He's not broken. That's great. And let's just hope that either Max Brosman is much better than he shown against the Seahawks, which I believe he could be, or JJ could be back for the Lions game, because let's face it, otherwise the Christmas Day games are going to be dreadful. But we will talk about that a little bit later. Now, for the Titans versus Chiefs, aka Worf, number 1 pick, that goes 2 ways, because that's kind of the punishment for winning. The Titans did not lose the chance to get number 1 pick, but definitely lost a lot of ground on that front. And in the draft, that if you get number 1 pick and Dante Moore doesn't declare for the draft, that pick, especially for a team that already has a QB, has tremendous value, because the haul you could get, I truly believe there's going to be like Mendoza. I'm not sure there is a second tier if we don't have Dante. So like the haul they could get from teams like Jets would have been massive. So that kind of sucks. But on the other hand, your reward is Cam Ward showcasing that he was 4th number 1 overall pick. He's playing good football. And yeah, you have a ton of building around him, giving him much more to work with. But I think this is a good showcase for a potential good head coach hire, because if you are looking at the situation, what do you want? Investments in the line. They have tried. They at least have Peter Skoronski. They have different maker on defense in Jeffrey Simmons. They have a franchise QB or potential with Cam Ward. And they will have probably like a top 5 pick. That feels like a good job to me. So showcase that. For the Chiefs, season is over. Gardner Minshew injured. That sucks. I really wonder what the next two games are going to look like. Next one, Cardinals versus Falcons, aka Kirk, the starter. Now, for me, who is like a draft nerd, trade free agency, really roster building, that's why I'm doing this, because I love to think about what the GMs could do, how to improve the roster, what should be the plan. This is kind of the developing narrative that I really enjoy watching, because from a guy that everybody was like, could you get us rid of Kirk Cousins? We perhaps could even pay you something. Now towards the point where there is a clear-cut opportunity for the Falcons, because first 2 years, they were pretty much guarantees. After that, there is like 30 million left in guaranteed money, which is like not nothing, but definitely cuttable. But at the same time, at this point, you are not going to do it. And if you are Falcons, and there's most likely going to be a new regime, the big question is going to be, do we try to explore the market? Because especially if Moore does not declare, there is not necessarily that many good quarterback options for teams like Dolphins, teams like Jets, Raiders, Browns. We don't see what Matthew Stafford is going to, is he going to play next year, what the Cardinal situation is going to look like, etc. And in that case, shopping Kirk Cousins could actually fetch you something. Or do you go with Kirk, whether Michael Penix is healthy or not, and try to still kind of be in that window where Bijan is in his prime, we might keep Kyle Pitts, Drake London is in his prime, we still have a great offensive line, and the division still sucks or it's not great. Very interesting scenario, and I cannot wait to just do the road to Super Bowl for the Falcons in the offseason. For the Cardinals, just 2 more weeks of most likely this whole regime. I would not fire GM, but coaches need to go. Now, Broncos versus Jaguars, aka real Super Bowl contenders. This sentence could end up with question mark or an exclamation point, because you could have questions, are Denver for real? In that case scenario, you're obviously saying, well, Jags are probably not as well. Or you could have exclamation point that this James just says, okay, Jags are for freaking real, because they just beat another contender. And I would lean towards the other side, because, oh my god, Jaguars, what a freaking performance. Liam Cohen, he's climbing super fast on my head coaching rankings, knocking on the door of top 10. I mean, last year, especially when you see the difference without him for the Buccaneers, a huge job there. And the turnaround for the Jaguars, the one thing the Jaguars actually did in the offseason was they didn't replenish the rooms as much. It really felt like they are taking this to assess what they have, and they are kind of making this turnaround with what they already got. And their huge investment was Travis Hunter, who is injured for the season. So that's crazy. Really, they just didn't have first round, they didn't have second round because Travis Hunter played 7-8 games. And here we are. They are real threats. And Trevor Lawrence, the moment pretty much everybody gave up on the idea of Trevor actually, hopefully, one day being tier 2 guy or potentially tier 1, he starts to play like one. And it's a thing of beauty. So, man, I have confidence. So, Duval. Now, for the Lions versus Steelers, storyline is they are real. Steelers offense, they demolished Lions defense. Yes, Lions defense is not necessarily the measuring point, which is something to stop on. Because when you look at the talent at the defensive line, there is a talent there. You have Hutch, you have McNeil, you have Reader. I understand the secondary is completely beaten up. You are down to your 7th safety or whatever. But it really feels in terms of defensive scheming and the job that they are doing, I don't think they are maximizing the talent they currently have on the roster. So here I actually see kind of a route in which Aaron Glenn gets fired from the Jets, and similar to Robert Saleh comes back. Here it would be Glenn to the Lions, and with Dan Campbell as offensive head coach taking over play calling, which is something that might continue towards next season. Now, who says Lions are not going to be back? I'm not. For the Steelers, like, I think they have offense. Like, it's still very hard to not remember all the years in which, like, they just do nothing in the playoffs. So, can this happen this year? They will probably be at home. Obviously, if they make it, they will be at home. Will they beat, like, Jags? No, I actually think, like, if Chargers are visiting them, this is the game that I actually feel like one thing needs to break. Either Justin Herbert is going to win his first playoff game or TJ Watt. And in that matchup, I would actually trust Steelers in that one. Because running game, I think they should generate push over the defensive line. And the edges of the Steelers should absolutely feed off that offensive line. So, if this is a first round matchup, I think we finally could see TJ Watt winning a playoff game. Now, for that last play of the game, was it offensive pass interference? By the rule, yes. Do I like this to be called at the end of the game where the game was really physical? So there is by the book, and there is also like what's being called in that game, right? Like you have some wiggle, you have like how it's being called, etc. Especially like when it's like the superstars and Jalen Ramsey versus Amon-Ra. I didn't like this to be called, truth to be told. Yet, I still would not think it should have been a touchdown because I felt like Amon-Ra's progress was stopped. So, despite that, in my opinion, the play should have been blown dead anyway. Now, towards the mind of Amon-Ra and Jared Goff to even make it up, for Jared to just launch in, top thinking here. And really, to me, this is what Jared Goff is. Like he's an elite QB. He has great processing, pre-snap, everything. He's just not as mobile, not as, sometimes as accurate. And obviously, when you are not as mobile, you are much more affected when your offensive line is declining, which is clearly the situation with the Lions. So, tier 2 quarterback in my books, yeah, he's still there. Like, that was something that was a narrative prior to the season. Like, how is he going to look like without Ben Johnson? I'm not saying it was as great, but I still think, like, around the top 10 mark, I can see Jared Goff absolutely there. Now, Texans versus Raiders, aka Ashton Genty's game. Finally, we got to see Ashton Genty at his greatness. But he's still on the Raiders, so it did not mean winning at the end. Perhaps, for the future, better draft position is better. But man, when the defense does not have to respect your passing game, which is kind of the story for the Raiders the whole season, and you are facing such a great defense to still put out a show like this, kudos to you. And let's be honest, I really like the playmakers that the Raiders have. The offensive line, work in progress. Gino, we will see. But Jake Bash, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, Michael Mayer, I like these guys. Trey Tucker, I think there's a lot of interesting potential. That's why I felt like this team could have been sneaky interesting this season, which did not happen. But I think it's still good. For the Texans, this is a game that you just try to erase your mind for the sake of your fans. Let's hope that you just really underestimated them, and especially after Stingley pick six, you would be like, okay, this game is in the bag, and you could not wake from that. This was not good. Now, Dolphins versus Bengals, aka Joe Burrow. Fun. Yeah, I'm just happy to see Joe Burrow enjoying the game, not getting pressured after every single snap, and have his guys in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and just dealing and wheeling, incorporate Chase Brown, and just have fun out there. This is what this offense should look like. I've heard some Bengals fans say oh God, this is going to save Zach Taylor's job. I mean, if anyone who's making decision making with the Bengals is swinged by this game and somehow attributes that to Zach Taylor, it's almost does not matter if you fire Zach Taylor or not, because if the guys are actually making decisions based on this, you are screwed. There is something rotten much higher than the head coaching job here. On the other side, Quinn Ewers, I know the like stats with the interception does not look great, but I think he played better than I expected. And does he have a shot to be starter next year? I don't think so, because I still don't see the upside. But it's encouraging to see that he did not necessarily absolutely shit the bed, though it's the Bengals defense. Clearly, this offense has some playmakers. Waller, we will see what's Tyrik's situation. They will most likely have to cut him anyway. And they have ventured in Devon A-Chain. So we will see. Now, Colts versus 49ers. I thought about this one. It was like, for the banter, I would say, you laughed at us 49ers for, Philip Rivers almost winning at us. Look at this. Philip Rivers had like over 250. He was like wheeling and dealing. 3rd and 16, doesn't matter. Just demolish your defense. And let's just ignore the other part that we could not score a touchdown on this defense that Brock Purdy just shredded to freaking bits, right? So, Bears, now it's your time. Like, I really don't want to go into week 18 to face the 49ers on freaking winning streak, just playing for everything at home with that crowd. I don't want that. Like, I have just one heart. Like, I need to save it for the playoff run. Please, Bears, do it. Seahawks, win at Panthers, and like make that game. Hopefully Rams lose somehow in the process. And not meaningless, but not for all the marbles. That's what I just wish. But man, 49ers, I'm just not happy with being so right that they are really dangerous. Really freaking dangerous. This is all in terms of review. Now for the preview, it's like, it reminds me, I don't know if it was last year or the year prior. I think it was the year prior when we watched like Packers versus Saints on the Christmas Day, or like Christmas Day for us, which is 24th of October, unlike for you Americans, which is 25th. And it was like a shutout, and it was like clear. Was it Spencer Rattler? I cannot, like, I tried to erase the game from my. And now we might have 3 of that, because like Washington with a 3rd string quarterback against Dallas, like, why? Like, can we just reschedule it somehow? Vikings versus Lions, like, you either hope that JJ is going to play or that Max Brosmer is better than he showcased so far. Which, like, that's the one game that I'm like grasping my hopes to. But like, it's still hanging on the balance of like, is undrafted rookie going to be great, or is JJ McCarthy going to play and actually be great? Not really something to like, lean on to. And then you have Chiefs versus Broncos, which sounds like a great game, but the spread is like 14 points for a really good reason, because like for Chiefs, the QB is going to be, I'm sorry, Chris Oladokun, who is 6th rounder, I think, from last year. No, 7th rounder from 2022. So that's Chris. Really bangers. I mean, this is going to be hard to watch football on Christmas. Like, let's hope for some Christmas miracles that, first string QBs are going to put up a show. Other than that, wishing you Merry Christmas, thank you for watching, and see you with the next one. Bye bye.